guard indeed. You are dead. Wow, the confidence of Yeti. As someone who has played with Yeti, you need to be a little less confident, my friend. That's a little. Those are fighting words. Fighting words. I'm dead. I'm dead handsome. That's awesome. I went against Magacall in the mid game and Aru versus Aru. That means nothing to me, Yeti. Cardona says, All right, on the top, in the top left corner, representing there we go. Representing nobody in particular. It's Yeti playing Zal, the newest character in Immortal, although she's not very new anymore, but she still has a new ability which allows you to shroud your units in a cloud, right? Not a cloud, but the opponents can't see you, essentially. It reduces all the visual range of all the units, the opposing units, by a significant margin for a short period. And in the bottom right corner, playing Mala, it's Santa Claus. You know, Santa Claus, he's usually busy, you know, trying to manage the elves in the North Pole and you know, trying to prepare for Christmas time, but you know, Santa's got to have some fun too, and Santa really, he's interested in what we're doing here, what's going on here in Immortal Gates of Pyre. So here he is playing against Yeti. We see an early natural for both players, which I love to see. I love to see macro. Getting out units early and going for that PYRE early game can be good. It depends on how well you use the PYRE. I've noticed that Hydraulics does that a lot, and he does use the PYRE very well, and he can get a really good advantage on you in the early game if you don't either match it with your own units or just really try and macro the crap out of your game and try and get that disadvantage that you have from having less PYRE, and you know, use it on other things like your economy. ... What's up, Cardona? What's the problem? We see two... Oh shoot, where are these? I can't remember the name. This happens when I cast. I can't remember the name. Two of the barracks from Aru coming out from Yeti, and is this a neurosite? I think it's a neurosite. So he wants to get the upgrades for his infantry units out early. He's skipping initial units by the looks of it, which is a little strange because you really do, even when you're late expanding, you really want units because you want to start farming these towers and getting your PYRE, getting enough PYRE to be able to infuse if you desperately need to, or just getting it, you know, a tower up. This is something that some people do. We also see a neurosite from Santa Claus, but we only see one of the barracks. The barracks, the Legion Hall kind of building. Now we see this building coming out. I don't remember what this is exactly, but it's a tech building. It's a tech building. So Santa Claus is going for tech. A crap ton of Zals are coming out for Yeti. This is why he didn't initially build. I'm guessing this is why he initially didn't build his hunters, because he wanted a crap ton of Zal. And honestly, they're pretty good. Look at this. That's actually a lot of damage when there's a ton of them. So he's going to just walk across the map, see what he can do to Santa Claus. Santa Claus has got a tower coming up. He's got some hunters that are going to be healed up by the time that Yeti gets here, and he has one singular Zal. So whether or not that's going to be enough to defend himself from this massive push from Yeti, we'll see. If Yeti waits till this tower gets up, it could be rough. But I mean, he's coming right in here. This could be really bad for Santa Claus. The game could end right here. Santa Claus sees it. Yeti is just walking by. Oh no, he wants the tower. That's fine. So Santa Claus sees this. He's like, okay, well, I can't defend my natural. So he gets all of his workers out of there and he gives up the natural. Unfortunately, he does have barracks representation of the building for as Aru down here, and he is going to lose some of that supply, but he doesn't have a ton of units, so that's okay. He is going to send a couple symbiotes out, and I assume this is to take one of the corner bases just to try and keep his economy up while he tries to break himself out of this hold that Yeti has on him. On the back end, Yeti is upgrading his natural a little bit, but he's going pretty heavy into units. He's got 4 whatchamacallits. Just trying to learn the game as I make an attempt to get an invite to play said game. Are you serious, Cardona? Do you really want to try and play this? I can get you access. I have keys. So we see a lot of thrums here. This is actually really nice from Santa Claus because he has all these thrums and there's no counter from Yeti. Yeti's just going to try and do as much damage as he can with these Zals before the thrums and it just basically just kill them all. Now, as Yeti, I'd be thinking about, okay, eventually these Zals are going to die. I need some defense at home. I'd be putting up the static D in his mineral lines just because these thrums are going to come across the map. They're going to come across the map, and at the moment, Yeti has no answer to them. He is getting some decent damage with the Zakals. But they are dying, and that was a lot of Zakals that are dying. Yeti does have a few hunters out, and he seems to be making more. He's trying to keep the pressure on, it seems. And I kind of like where Santa Claus is at. He's got these thrums out, and he's got a corner base that Yeti doesn't know about. I'm interested to see. I thought this was a tech building, but I lied. It's the building for making thrums. I'm a diehard strategy type guy. StarCraft 2 Command & Conquer. Awesome, Cardona. That is awesome. I can't wait to get you into this. I'll get you a key. So we do see, because of the fact that Yeti is just hammering out the economy, he has a crap ton of army, and he has upgraded his natural. He's gotten the ether farm. I forget what it's called. The ether maw or something like that. He did lose all of the workers in his natural because of the thrums, and there's not much he can do about that. Like I said, I would like to see him make him some static D, but he can't be killed at the moment. He can take some damage, but he can't be killed, and that's what matters. If I were Yeti, I'd be thinking about trying to take a third, honestly. He doesn't know about that corner base, but if I were Santa Claus, I'd be double expanding, and I would assume that in the position as Yeti in this position. Once again, the thrums are just taking out all these units, or all the workers, and there's nothing that Yeti can really do about it. He can move the thrums away, but he can't keep losing the damage. And he only has 2 symbiotes, and he's gonna lose the other 2. Well, another one popped out, but he's gonna lose all 3 of them. He has no workers right now. This is dangerous. This is dangerous because if he makes units at all, then he doesn't have enough resources to get another symbiote, and he could just end up not being able to recover. Santa Claus losing a couple thrums here. He wants to take down that static D, which makes sense, but he is losing a lot of thrums in the process. Looks like Yeti did save 1 symbiote. He still has, and he is going across the map with those Zakals. There is nothing to defend here, as the thrums are the sole map presence right now, except for these 2 hunters by the looks of it. And yeah, Yeti's kind of doing the right thing. It's just kind of turning into a half base trade. Yeti wants to put on the pressure because he has all these units that can't do anything about the thrums, and he wants to end the game because he is really in an all-in position. He's got a couple symbiotes out now. He's actually recovering really well, but he doesn't know about that hidden base, and that's what could kill Yeti in this game. Now we do see the thrums coming back. If the thrums target the hunters, they might be able to finish off them and be able to have free reign on the Zakals, but he doesn't want to go for it. He does lose that natural. It does get canceled. It didn't get killed, so he does retain those resources. He's going to lose that symbiote, but he has that hidden base, and he's upgraded it, and he's farming ether from it. So honestly, this is a really close game. This is a tight game. At this point, we can't say someone has a decided lead against the other person. It's a dynamic game. Santa Claus has the air superiority. and the ability to harass his opponent, while Yeti just has the sheer numbers, and he can't quite end the game with those sheer numbers, but he has them. And both players have similar economy. This is an exciting game. These are the kinds of games that you usually see. Ooh, Santa Claus could lose a couple thrums here. He did lose 2. He wants to get more harassment done, and that's getting harder and harder with the amount of units that Yeti is making. Yeti is not letting up. He is not taking a third. Yeti is like, I'm gonna end this game on 2 bases. It doesn't matter how long it takes, and that's what he's gonna try and do. Santa Claus comes in here, loses another thrum, and takes out 2 symbiotes. I don't know if that's worth. I haven't done the math. Looks like one of these thrums is stuck, but maybe it can be shot at. Yeah, there we go. So we see another base being taken in the corner. This is bold from Santa Claus. This is very bold. I'd be wanting to take a natural base, and the reason for that is because Yeti at some point is gonna gather, hey, he's not dead yet, he's not leaving, and he's still making a lot of units. Maybe I should check the corners of the map. Now, he is Yeti, so he might not, but I mean, he's gonna get suspicious sooner or later. And I mean, look at this army from Santa. Santa is doing what Yeti was doing in the earlier part of the game. He's just massing Zakals, and Zakals with resonance. If Santa Claus catches Yeti off guard, this could be really good for Santa. He could end the game. There is a large army for Yeti. Yeah, English for Yeti though. This is a scary army. Like, this is a lot. This is a lot of stuff. In order to win an army engagement, Santa Claus would have to catch Yeti off guard in some way, whether it be fighting up a ramp or in a choke or something like that. Now Yeti is suspicious. He's like, hey, this guy doesn't have any expansions. What's up, dude? Where are your bases? It's only a matter of time at this point before Santa Claus's bases get found. But Yeti is like, he doesn't have a 4th base in that location. I'm not even going to try and search the corner. Let's just go for the throat. And I feel like Santa Claus needed these sieged up. He might not have the research to be able to siege them up, but yeah, there's no way Yeti can attack up this ramp. And Santa Claus is actually coming down. He does have the research to siege up the resonance, so that is a major plus for Santa. He doesn't want to be fighting this though. Oh wait, he does. Oh my gosh, he has so many more Zakals that it doesn't even matter. Holy moly, he has so much stuff. I misinterpreted the fight. The Zakal numbers are really important, because I noticed that Yeti had a couple Zakals, but his army was largely hunters now looking back on it, and yeah, Santa's is mostly Zakals, and Zakals are so tanky now. But Yeti's like, no way, he has a big army on 1 base, and he's gonna find the other bases, and Santa Claus is gonna have to dive across the map in order to try and save the top corner base. He's definitely gonna lose this one. He's moving out of his main now. He is taking a natural, which I like to see. The game is slightly returning to normal. Yeti is like, hey, maybe I should expand a little bit, and that's what he's doing. This is turning more and more into a normal game, which is hard to believe considering the opener. Santa Claus might be able to hold this ramp here. Yeah, Yeti won't be able to push up that. He loses a chopstick unit. Pushing up this ramp as Santa is a little bold. He's waiting for his resonance to come through, but the Zakals are so strong. Holy moly, they are really strong. And Santa could just push through. Holy moly, more Zakals is better. I'm learning after watching this. Nobody really has the PYRE advantage at this point. We haven't seen either player really trying to go for the PYRE a ton. They probably have saved up some at this point. We did see Santa use an infuse earlier, and that is 75, so he might be a little low, but we do see an engagement here. These armies are similar in size, but Santa Claus does have the Zal count as well as the resonant count. Very few hunters in this army. Yeti has lots of hunters, and I presume that is because of the fact that he might not have as much ether as Santa did. May have not gotten those rather early, and he is forced to, in order to make units to survive, is making a bunch of hunters. And now we're seeing thrums, which I think it's not the worst move. Like, it won't be expected by Santa Claus. He'll be moving around the map, and there's no real defense static D against thrums because they're not expected from Santa Claus. So We are going to see these do some damage, and that is going to be a nice move from Yeti. Well done. But another nice move being made here is Santa trying to get in the main of Yeti, completely bypassing his main army at his third base. And this is brilliant. This is brilliant. Yeti doesn't see it. He has no map vision. He is just going to walk up here. We do see the Thrums doing the damage like we expected. Nothing really there to defend them. The symbiotes just try and run away, but this could just be devastating damage. All of the production from Yeti is here. He puts down a tower because he expects himself to be able to siege up here with these resonants, and that's honestly, I like this position. I like this position because if he sieges up his resonance, there's nothing that Yeti can do, and that. He hasn't sieged him up yet. There are Thrums nearby. He does need to defend his resonance with his masked hunters. Yeti's just coming in here. He's like, no way you're going to do this to me. And Sandy uses an infuse, and Yeti's like, that's a big army. Maybe I shouldn't push into this. And he's very much right. And now the resonance siege, and we're about to see lots of death and destruction. The last of the Zakals are dying, but can the resonance kill everything before they die as well? There's only 2 hunters left, and all the Thrums have died to the hunters, so you really don't need any more hunters here as Santa Claus, because all the Thrums are dead. Your resonants have free reign, and now all of Yeti's production is gone. He cannot remake his army. Santa Claus has an economy, and he has production. He can remake his army. Yeti cannot. This was a very bold, and it worked out very well move from Santa Claus. I mean, he's got the resonance in the main. The main is completely gone. He's even got his tower finishing up here. He's going to be able to heal up his units. Well done by Santa Claus. It looks... I mean, I got to give Yeti some credit. He has 3 bases, even with losing his main. So if he can get his production back up, if he can get those buildings back up and start making units again, he can still win. This is still a game. But I don't see any of his production being remade. Maybe in the main, but... making it in the main is not the right move because there's all these resonants up here. You can't push up here and defend. You got to make it in the natural at the 3rd or even at your 4th base would work. He's losing the air unit production facility. He will not be able to make Thrums and throw a curveball at Santa Claus anymore. Santa Claus hasn't quite put up static D, so Thrums would be a good idea. But I mean, you can't even make any Thrums at this point anymore. There's just nothing that Yeti can do at this point. He's just lost all of his base, and he GG's. What a game! It really looked like Yeti was ahead there for a while. Well played from both players. That was a real crazy game. It looked like it was going to be a base trade for a moment. There was some curveballs thrown with the Thrums coming out of nowhere from both players, okay? And then the walk in the main, just walk in, just say, hey, I'm here now with all your resonance. Well done, Santa Claus. Yeah, GG, well played indeed. That's not fair, hidden bases. Yeti, you gotta look for the hidden bases, man. As soon as you killed the Natural, Santa Claus was like, well, I guess I'm making a hidden base. And he went and did it. And he had that for ages. If you had scouted those bases, you probably would have won the game.